These video clips are going to show you how to get the Vibrato selector assembly out of a RT-2 console, and this will probably work for any -2 Hammond console like a B2 or a C2. It's a great big long metal box, and it sits underneath the drawbars. I've already removed the drawbars. And from studying this thing a little bit, it looks like there's a number of things that have to be disconnected. This bundle of black wires here runs from this Vibrato selector assembly to the Vibrato delay line. These wires here, there's 8 of them, those are the wires that connect to the scanner. And then these wires here are the wires that run over here to the start and the run switches, and so they carry AC power to the start and the run circuits. They'll have to be disconnected. In an earlier video, I took out the drawbars, and this metal tray comes out, and when you look down in here, you'll see that right here and over here there are 2 steel brackets that will be unscrewed from underneath, and they hold 2 of the 3 shielded wires, 2 of 3 shielded cables. These 2 go down to the preamp, so they'll be removed from the preamp, and then there's one more right here that connects into the matching transformers, impedance matching transformers. So that'll also have to be disconnected, and I think once I get that stuff disconnected, it looks like there's maybe 2 screws on this end and 2 screws here that holds this whole thing down. Now, I know from doing previous work, these are real long screws here. These do more than just hold this plate down. These actually hold the upper and lower manuals together and bolts them to the cabinet. Here's what my RT-2 console looks like with the Vibrato selector assembly off. I might be able to, without any further disassembly, I might be able to take all those keys off and change the up and down stop felts, at least on the upper. I'll ponder that for a while I'm cleaning out the Vibrato selector switches and stuff. That's what that looks like. I know there's at least 1 coin up here on the treble end in this upper manual. I've seen at least 1 coin down in there, so it'll be nice to get that out of there and Who knows? Maybe it's from 1951, the same year this console was made. If I'm still faced with the issue of replacing the felts on the lower manual, though, so I don't know. Another option is just to go ahead and pull both manuals out. Since I'm also planning to recap the tone wheel generator, I might just go ahead and pull both manuals out and be done with it. Okay, here's the vibrato selector assembly off the organ. It's sitting on one of my benches. These long shielded cables are the ones that go to the preamplifier. One of them is the normal and soft volume selection, and the other one has the leads inside of it for the vibrato swell and vibrato grate. And then these leads go to the matching transformers in the little round can. So make sure you mark what color goes to which lug. I made a little drawing of it. On mine, the yellow one goes to the upper lug and the green one goes to the lower lug. Down here on this end you got your start and run switches. These are all the power leads that go down to the AC distribution panel. Those lugs right there are the where the wires to the scanner go, and then this long harness here with these 16 wires on it are the wires that go to tap off the various signals off the vibrato delay line. So next step will be flip this upside down, and I'm not really having any problems with this unit, but on the advice of some members on the organ forum, I'm going to follow their suggestion, and since I have to remove this anyway to work on the manuals, I may as well flip it upside down and clean those contacts out. Okay, that's the inside of the switch box. There's a metal rod holding the three switches into place, the rockers, and it slides out to the right. And here's the switches. Now, what's odd is this switch here, which is the volume switch, does not have one of these springs on there, but it seems to function okay without it. I don't know if it ever had one, but anyway, it doesn't have one now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, I'm not going to disassemble this any further. There's contacts on the top and there's contacts on the bottom. I'm going to cut some little strips of paper, and I'm just going to put them in between there and work them back and forth a little bit just to sort of burnish the contacts. It's pretty clean in there. Okay, here's what the inside of the vibrato selector switch assembly looks like. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 different cams in there. And what happens as you rotate the knob underneath here, it turns that long rod, and that rod has those plastic cams on it, and at different settings each group of contacts is either open or closed. They all open and close together. There's one down here at the very end, which I think is this black one, I think is for the chorus, because it's just one switch contact. I took some pieces of paper, I turned the selector switch until a set of contacts is lifted up, and then I put this paper under there, and then I turned the selector switch until the contacts lowered, and while they were lowered I wiggled them back and forth a little bit just to burnish the contacts a little bit. So now I'm just going to test the contact set with my ohm meter just to make sure that they're all working. I think they are. And I might put just a teeny tiny dab of grease on those two brass gears on the end. I've decided not to lubricate anything on the inside of it because I don't want to contaminate the contacts with any lubricant migration. So that's what the inside of the Hammond Vibrato switch assembly looks like. Alrighty, well, another little thing I discovered while I was testing out all these contacts with my ohm meter. The contacts are all fine, but I noticed while I was doing that, this resistor under here is the chorus resistor, and it works in conjunction with this set of contacts right here. And if it's full vibrato, those contacts short out that resistor. And then on the chorus settings, those contacts open up and put a 22K ohm resistor in series. Well, that one that was in there measured 25.4, and it was a 10% resistor. Well, 25.4 is more like 15% too high. So I went ahead and clipped that out of there and put in a 22K 1% resistor that I happen to have laying around, and so now that's back down within spec. So I don't know that that's going to be a dramatic improvement with the chorus, but hey, it was out of spec and it was easy to change, so I went ahead and did that while I was in here. Okay, well, I've got the vibrato selector unit all back together again, and moved it over to a different bench so it's out of the way. So for the next phase of my adventure here with the RT-2 console, one last thing I wanted to mention about these AC power wires. These things are all soldered to the AC distribution panel on the back of the tone wheel generator over on the left hand side by the synchronous run motor and the scanner. Well, I knew from work I had done about a year ago on it just to get the thing working at all that I was having a difficult time soldering, getting solder to stick to these wires, and also getting solder to stick to the solder lugs that are back there. Now, what I did on these was I went ahead and got some acetone and wiped these down. You can still see a little bit of green grunge on that one, but I got a whole lot of grease and just grime off the last couple inches of insulation here, and also I wiped down the wires themselves. They're a lot cleaner now, and I got an awful lot of crud off of them. I'm hoping that that will make them clean enough that when I get ready to solder them back, the solder will stick to them. When stuff gets dirty or greasy or oily, you can't get solder to stick no matter how much heat you put on it. And so I was starting to notice that problem back there. I'm going to remove the entire AC panel back there and get that out and do the same thing. I'm going to remove the solder from all the solder lugs, and I'm going to wipe that down with acetone and try and get it as clean as I can, so that when I put this thing back together again, hopefully I can just put the leads in the solder lugs like they show in the service manual and just solder them up and be done with it. So that's one more thing you might want to do if you're fooling around with this stuff.